Will computers replace teachers?
Yeah, I grew up on Terminator 2, so like humans also created Skynet, so we're pretty screwed.
Stay tuned for this week's episode of Mz.Ortega Says, while we explore the topic and discuss artificial intelligence in education. Hi, thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Mz.Ortega Says. I have a very special guest with me, near and dear to me. He's actually my cousin, but also a fellow educator. Hi, Julian.
Hi, yeah, so I'm Julian, and I am a special educator. I teach 5th through 8th grade special day class program at a middle school, so yeah.
Yeah, we're both middle school teachers, and we're both wondering, will computers replace teachers? How do you feel about that? Like reading about AI and tools that we use in the classroom.
Like, I feel like there'll always be teachers in the classroom, or like in some schools there'll always be teachers, but like I can see a world where, like AI does take over, and that's kind of scary, but yeah.
I mean, I know we grew up with Smart House, Disney's Smart House, where that was freaky, and then The Matrix, but I feel like we have this idea that computers are like inherently evil, but like aren't humans the ones programming it? Like, I fear that too. I don't know. Who knows? I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I grew up on Terminator 2, so like humans also created Skynet, so we're pretty screwed.
Well, I know we've been reading a lot about these ITIs, like the. So before we get on with the podcast, I wanted to interject here and just state that earlier in the week, I shared with my cousin in some research, an article from Carnegie Mellon University. They were talking about their ITI systems, their Intelligent Tutoring Systems, and these are computer systems that aim to provide this like one-to-one curriculum for students. This is why they're getting such a big buzz. There's such a big buzz right now in ed tech, and it is designed to teach a variety of subjects from algebra, grammar, to fraction addition, even chemistry, right? So how it is designed is we need a human to program it, meaning that the teacher teaches the computer how to correct a student's answer. For example, students are practicing, let's just say, long division. The computer will come up with some prompts, and the teacher will recognize, oh, this is an incorrect answer. We'll click a couple of buttons so that the computer learns, oh, this is how you would answer this question in a variety of ways. We still aren't, it's not autonomous yet. We still need humans to program it. That's what we were talking about and read about. So just to catch y'all up. Devices that, or this artificial intelligence that's able to teach students, but we know that the teachers are the ones that programming. I mean, as far as differentiation for your kids, how would you feel about having a tool like that?
So I think it would be an amazing tool. Like, based off what I read, the article you sent me, it was really interesting because like I kind of already use something like that. It's not AI, but there is like the iReady lessons that are built in place where students can work individually with it, and it teaches them, it talks to them, and like shows them examples and all that. And if they get it wrong, it'll try to like show them how to do it. So I could see how AI could be a very useful tool within the classroom. I don't think it should take over the whole lesson just because, or like the whole like teacher's job, just because, there's a lot of aspects to teaching that are at play that I don't think AI can do yet. And even if it could, like, I think, there's still a lot of things that humans are a little bit more capable of doing, like social and emotional understanding and just reading the room kind of thing. But yeah, so I could get more into it, but
no, absolutely. I agree with you with the whole SEL, the social emotional stuff, especially that big push after COVID. And you're right. I don't think like reading the room, right? So, I mean, our students, they're not robots. We're not robots. We have emotions. Even like teaching robots emotions, I don't like, how are they going to know if, if your student comes in, they had a bad day, they got in a fight with their brother, or maybe like they didn't have supper last night, or they're in a situation where they're living in their car, like, is the robot going to know? Is the robot going to be able, or, if eventually they take over this class. But I do like the idea where, I mean, we use those tools, like you said, like iXL or iReady, where they, even I think SBAC, right? If they take a test, the standardized testing at the end of the year, based on how our students answer, the computer device will kind of change the test to their level. Like, okay, they need something more challenging, or okay, let's go back a couple of steps. But yeah, you're right. I feel that way too. I don't think that we are going to be replaced by computers. I hope that we have better tools though that could help our kids, because I mean, wouldn't you want something that would make grading easier, like some AI?
Yeah. Yeah, and like it's funny because like reading it the way they're planning on using it for now, it sounds honestly super helpful for teachers, because like, so especially me, so I'm in like a special day class, and I have like 4 grade levels, 5th through 8th, and not just that, like I teach all 4 subjects, and I also like my students, they all have like learning disabilities, so there's various levels just within those grade levels, so I have to create stations, right? And the first station is like, I teach them the core curriculum. Second station, they do some independent work, but with help from an aide. And then the third station is that's when they go on iReady and they're able to work on their own and like do those lessons. And that's like when I feel like that AI technology could be super useful, where, it is tailored to the student and their, ways of learning, and like they can independently work there on their own. While I get to work with other students at different levels. So I think that would be a great tool to have in the classroom, and not just for special ed, but, in gen ed class, right? And you could assign that for homework too, right? You like, if a student doesn't have parents who, speak English or who are familiar with that, like that type of, education or level of math or whatever, they could get the assistance they need at home from the AI. So, I think it is a great thing. It's cool to see technology being used for good reasons, such as education. But, I fear that it's gonna become we're gonna become so dependent on it that we forget, the importance of having a person like a human teacher in class to also deal with the social emotional behaviors, to be a guide, to be a model, and not just for like that, but to like, like humor too in the classroom, right? Like, is the AI going to teach humor to students and make, give breaks when needed, and deal with those moments that a student, cherishes and stuff, right? They cherish in the classroom that make it very special, where you almost feel like you're at home with family.
Yeah, developing that family, the relationship, because, well, who knows if they'll replace us. But thank you for your time, and I really appreciate you taking the time and the work you do, right? Thank you, cousin. I mean, we both are teachers, but we understand the hard work. But yeah, I'm wondering if robots are going to take over the classroom.
If Arnold Schwarzenegger teaches a class, like, I probably sit in the governor.
Anyway.
The educator.
The educator, yeah. You're right. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I hope that I hope we're not replaced, because you're right, the students do need us. And hey, like, we're gonna be so dependent on technology the day that the power goes out. What the heck? What would we do? So I hope there's like a good balance, or at least a backup generator.
Yeah, and the backup generator would just be a human.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, we have a sub. The power's out. We have a sub. That's a good point.
You're like...
Thank you for listening. That's it for this week's episode of Mz.Ortega Says. I hope you enjoyed the show, and a special thanks to my cousin Julian. Thank you, Julian. Special thank to my teachers who taught me without computers and or the need for AI in the classroom. Thanks, everybody. Bye.